Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Carla. Welcome you back to my channel. Today, I'm sure you've already seen the title. I'm going to discuss what life is like for me with physical challenges. But first, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and all my videos. Well, let me rewind and get back to how things are with me. Now, when people see me, they're like, oh, she shouldn't have to use this. Oh, she shouldn't have to use that. What's wrong with her? Da-da-da-da, whoop-whoop. And as a result, like I said in some of my other videos, me trying to listen to other people is what caused the accident that happened at home. And I fell and broke my front tooth. Now I've got to go through a lot of dental stuff to get that repaired, plus the one beside it. It doesn't even look like anything's wrong with it, but life goes on. So with that being said, all my stuff started way back when I was in my early 20s, and I was in car accidents. One right after the other. I had like 3 car accidents right after I found out I was pregnant. Well, actually, one I found out when I was pregnant. And then the other 2 happened after I was pregnant, or while I was pregnant, more like it. And it caused a lot of damage to my back. So with that, I end up developing sciatica in my back. I end up developing arthritis in my back, lower back, mind you. And over the years, it played a part in it. Plus, I was a lot heavier than what I am now. So that also made the injury even more impacted. Okay, so even after that, I ended up in another car accident that actually injured my shoulder. I had my seatbelt on all the time, but the last one that I was in, someone hit me hard in the back of me, and it injured my shoulder. And of course, my back got re-injured all over again. So as a result, the sciatica, I was told by my doctor, the sciatica is what generated to my right leg being numb. So from the knee down, my leg is numb. I can still walk, mind you. I can still dance, mind you. I can still get around, mind you. I just have to be conscious of what I'm doing, because this isn't something I was born with or anything like that. It was developed because of accidents and stuff like that. So I had to learn how to maneuver stuff and walk a certain way. So after that, I was on my way to work. The car that I had the car accident in, I didn't have it anymore. So I was now on public transportation on MATA. And as a result, I end up falling, because I was born with a weak ankle on the right side. I was born with arthritis in my legs, but I didn't have like the numbness at birth, and I didn't have the problem with my knees. So on the way to work, I fell on the side of the highway trying to catch the bus. It wasn't an expressway, but it was like, like the 4-lane highways. So I fell on the concrete on the side of the road, and initially they said I crushed my kneecap. I'm not sure. I just know it looks a little different from the other one, but I still went to work. I still got on the bus. I still went to work. I went to the emergency room after I got off from work, but I still went to work. So that started me using a cane because of my leg issue. So I stayed on the cane for several years after that, and I thought I was going to be good. Now, mind you, all this time I'm grown. My kids, I think my daughter might have been she was in middle school. I know that much. She was in middle school because her bus came after I had already left to go to work. So she was in middle school, but I had my oldest boys taking me to the bus stop. Thankfully, good, because during that time frame, I couldn't get up if I fall. And so I needed their assistance to help me get up. I had more strength then than I do now, but I'm trying to get some of it back. But I'll get into that part in just a minute. But yeah, I crushed, according to them, crushed my kneecap, my right kneecap, when I fell on the side of the road trying to catch the bus to go to work. Now, during that time frame, I was vegetarian. I didn't know half about protein that I do now, being that I've gone through health journeys, I've gone through bariatric surgery, I've gone through taking GLP-1s, but I didn't know anything about eating protein and the importance of protein with your muscle mass. I didn't understand any of that. I used to be real strong because I could, of course, I was a cheerleader. I could do cartwheels. I could, do splits. I could do all kind of stuff. And then I was in marching band after that. So I had strength at one point in time. But by me not understanding the importance of eating protein, that's why I make it so important to do my health journey now, to make sure that other people don't make the same mistakes that I did. Make sure you do your homework, that kind of thing, because it's very important to make sure that you get all the proper nutrients that you need, especially if you're not going to eat, like you're going to alter your diet, so to speak, for certain reasons, one or the other, where you're turning vegan or vegetarian or keto, or like me, trying to do more health journey. But thankfully, my health diet is high protein. So I have to make sure I hit a certain amount of protein a day. But it's going to take me some time to rebuild all that muscle mass that I lost all those years. So that contributed to me not being able to go up inclines, like inclinement, walking. The slightest slope is a challenge for me to get up and down it. Steps. Oh my God, steps. Me and steps are not the best of friends. We are not friends. We ain't been friends in almost 10 years. We are not friends at all. There was a point where I couldn't even touch steps. Going down them was scary, and I'll get to why that is in just a minute. That problem hadn't started then, but it eventually developed, other than the fact that, my knee was messed up. But it took a lot of my strength. My arm strength, gone. I noticed my arm strength one day, and I was in a store, because at the time, like I said, I was using just a cane. Some days I needed it, some days I didn't. And I had ran into, I think, like a Dollar General, Family Dollar or something like that. And I needed to get like a 2-liter soda and something else. But either way, there was stuff in both of my arms. And I noticed that it was just a 2-liter bottle for me to stand in this long, drawn out line. It was somewhere back near 2020-ish. My arms felt like they were literally going to fall off. I literally was catching it, trying to, I'm sorry about the dog. Somebody's talking loud in the background, and they're stirring them dogs up. Oh my goodness. Hold on for a minute. Okay. Hopefully, everybody in my house will be quiet and keep them dogs quiet. I'm sorry. But like I was saying, I was inside of the store. I can't remember. I think it was Dollar General. And I noticed that this 2-liter bottle was like feeling like I was carrying a ton. So I started paying attention more and more about my strength. And I was like, okay, this is odd. And then I was doing something. I was swinging something. And I noticed that my strength was like almost depleted. I couldn't hardly do what I normally did. And that's when it really started realizing that something's happening with my strength. I don't know what it was. It took me years to determine or find out that it was actually my protein intake that I wasn't getting, to make sure that I was getting the strength of stuff that I needed. So eventually, I'm not vegetarian now. Eventually, I stopped being a vegetarian. It was hard for me to transition back. but I did transition back. Yeah, I got sick a couple of times, but it was okay. I eventually got adjusted to it. So that was that. Shortly after that, we moved into our other location, and I noticed after I got sick with COVID, well, let me rewind just a little bit. Okay. At where we were before, I got sick with COVID. I forgot this little tidbit of information. And I was hospitalized for 8 days in the hospital with COVID and pneumonia. I had been sick about a good month. I have a video while I was in the hospital that I recorded. So, yeah, you might want to go back and watch that video. I was actually in the hospital when I did that recording. It's on my YouTube channel, so just check it out. But anywho, while I was in the hospital, when I got to the hospital, I found out my oxygen level. Now, mind you, I'm asthmatic, and my oxygen level was at 60 something. I can't remember the exact number, but right now, but I know it was 60 something. So I was put on oxygen. And I remember because they was trying to get me to go to the ICU, and I kept rejecting the offer to go to the ICU. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm good. I'll be all right. And it was like, are you sure your oxygen level, keep fluctuating, this, that, and the other? And it was like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And so, needless to say, I didn't have to go to ICU, but I did stay on oxygen. Now, mind you, this was when, people were still dying from COVID. I knew I didn't want to go to ICU with COVID because I had a feeling that if I got to ICU, because I had never seen anybody in ICU before, so I didn't really understand the logistics of what ICU is. I know what it looks like now because I went and visited my mom there before she passed away. So I didn't really understand what ICU was. I just picture what you see on television, all these tubes, all this stuff, ventilators, and all this, that, and the other. And I did not want that because I've heard that a lot of people who passed away from COVID ended up on those ventilators. And I felt like that was like a death wish waiting for me to go away. So I was like, no, just let me stay down here. I'm good. And I remember praying when I was in the hospital because I just couldn't handle it. It was, something. We're in a pandemic. People are dying. Every time you turn around, somebody died. And I remember praying that, God, if you get me out of this, I don't care if I have to be on oxygen. Just let me get out of here without being on the pine box. I don't care about the oxygen. If I have to stay on it forever, then let me stay on it. I don't care. I just don't want to die from this. So after 8 days of being in the hospital on COVID, with COVID and pneumonia, my symptoms from that got well enough for me to get discharged. But I was discharged with the oxygen. They kept trying to take me off the oxygen so I could go home. But needless to say, it didn't work. So they ended up having to send me home with the oxygen. That was around end of March 2021. So needless to say, I'm still on oxygen now, and it's 2025. Now, here's the thing about the oxygen. I have the big tank, and then I have the big tank as in the one you plug into the wall, and it has like a 50-foot cord that can walk me through the house and this, that, and the other. It's loud as all giddy up, but it's all right. And then I have the portable now because I used to have to carry around the tanks when I first had it. But when they found out I was going to need it for a long term, they actually gave me the rechargeable portables. But I'm going to have to eventually get another one because the one I got, or another battery for the one I got, because it doesn't last long. And the battery that I did buy, it's old. So I guess over so many years, they die out and you can't use them much anymore. But now I still use the oxygen. Not many people see me with it on. I had to use it actually today because as long as I stay in an environment that doesn't trigger my asthma or anything like that, or any type of smoke, oh my God, secondhand smoke is not my friend. Barbecue grills, secondhand smoke, anything that produces smoke or fumes, I have to stay away from it. Because if I get around it, here comes the oxygen back out. And the one reason why I know I have to have it then is because it'll start making, like, right up underneath my rib cage will hurt real bad. And it'll be like from the front all the way around to the back on that left side, because that was the side that was damaged the most during the time I had COVID and pneumonia. Those lungs were permanently damaged. So that's part of it. So sometimes I walk around and it can get real annoying. When I say real annoying, I mean like annoying. I walk by so many people. Oh, I'm going to pray for you that you get off your oxygen. Boo boo. Pray all you want to. Okay? Because the prayer that I had is all I needed. Because I had a choice. I could have prayed to get off this oxygen and not worry about nothing else. Or I could pray, just let me get out of here and live, even if that means I got to take the oxygen with me. No oxygen, maybe die. With oxygen, live. I'll choose the oxygen. Thank you very much. I'm good. No problem. So right after that, we were still in around the pandemic time. I have this adorable little puppy who you heard a few minutes ago. And I had literally just adopted him that year at the beginning of the pandemic. And his little puppy pad, I didn't have carpet in my house at the time that we were staying. And his little puppy pad was on the floor. I'm running back and forth across the room, trying to get stuff done, working from home, getting stuff from the computer to the printer, from the printer to the computer, getting stuff done in the middle of a meeting online. I saw the puppy pad, but I didn't see the puppy pad. I saw the puppy pad as I walked toward it, but for some reason, because I was in a hurry, trying to rush, at the time I only had a cane, and I wasn't using a cane at the time, I stepped on the puppy pad. Now, mind you, like I said, I used to be a cheerleader. But that was way back when I was in school, as in elementary school, high school, not grown with kids, kind of thing. So, needless to say, I did a Chinese split, which means one leg goes to the east and one leg goes to the west. Boom, down. If there's a female out there who have Barbie dolls, or young men who got, back in the day, you had them G.I. Joe figures and stuff like that. When you take them little legs, especially on them little Barbie dolls, and you do them like this, and one of them little suckers pop off, and you got to figure out how you're going to put it back on there, that's exactly what I thought I was going to image with my leg. It's my left leg at that. Now, mind you, the right knee was already messed up from falling, trying to catch the bus to go to work. Now, I've injured the left hip. Here comes the walkers. So, as a result of injuring my left hip, I now had to use a walker. Now, doing something quick and easy, I quickly rushed and got the metal old school walker with the wheels on the back or the wheels on the front, or however way it's 2 wheels and 2 prongs, whatever it is. So, needless to say, that wasn't really working for me because I'm still trying to carry stuff. I'm still trying to maneuver this thing. It's not rolling too well. Hip hurting, having to stand up. Knee messed up on the other side, having to stand up. So my doctor advised that I got a rollator, which is the one that got 4 wheels, the brakes, the seat, all this, that, and the other. That way when I get tired, I can just sit down in between. And that was my start of my rollator walker. That was back in pandemic days. Now, mind you, it's been years later, and I still use my rollator because whatever option do I have? I'm not finna get the knee surgery no time soon. I hadn't even planned it. And because of the fact that I've heard so many people with having hip surgery, they can walk before surgery and can't walk after surgery. That makes me start thinking, okay, which one is, which of the two evils do I want? Do I want to risk not being able to walk ever again without support? Or do I want to just deal with what I'm dealing with some support? I'll take some support. So, that's the way I'd end up doing it. And over time, like maybe a few years after that, getting on a rollator now. I had the big bariatric one. I don't have it now. Well, I still got them, but I don't use them anymore. I've now got the standard size rollators, which is much easier for me to maneuver, taking in and out. Somehow, some way, I developed some numbness in my right leg. Now, I was told from my doctor yesterday, my bariatric doctor, when I did a follow-up with him, that is a possibility that the numbness came from the sciatic nerve damage from all the car accidents from way back when. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get that corrected. We are working on other procedures for my legs that is medically necessary for me to get done. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to get rid of the numbness. And that goes to say what I was going to say earlier about going up and down the steps kind of thing. I can go up steps now. Now is the key phrase, now, because of my health journey. I've lost a lot of weight over the last 2.5 years. And as a result of me being lighter, even though my strength is still weak, I have less weight to maneuver going up and down the steps now. So going up steps, I can do without like struggle breathing or anything like that, even though I was supposed to be on oxygen. But I can still go up a flight of steps because I've done it twice, once in June and once in July. And both of them were very, very steep steps. One of them was 2 flights. Like you go up, go around, and go back up the next set. Going down steps is a whole nother story because with the numbness and the knee issue, my right leg will give out whenever it get ready. Like that woman in the Gorilla Glue, it don't move, okay? My leg, it don't move. It moves whenever it gets ready to. That's what caused the fall and that broke my tooth. I'm moving around because if I walk without my walker, even though people think that I'm dependent on it or I think I'm dependent on it, it's more like it's a stability issue. I don't have the right kind of stability, even though I can walk without it at times. I don't have a warning signal when my leg gives out. Not none. Literally, not none. Not, did I say not? Not none. I don't have any type of warning signal when my leg is going to give out. So that is one of the reasons why I choose not to go down steps. Because even if I hold onto the rail and it gives out, I can fall down the steps. So it's like, why risk it? Why risk it? I would prefer going up them if I had an option, because even if it gives out, then 9 times out of 10, the last 2 times I actually went up the steps, except for when I went to the pool, there was somebody behind me and in front of me. Going up them, the reason why I don't like going up them, because I definitely got to have somebody at the top, or my walker needs to be in place at the top, because if the handrail stops, I can't get up that last step. I have to have something to hold on to to help me get up that last step. So the one reason why I decided to put all this on social media and to put it on my YouTube channel was because it's something I never discussed, but I've always gotten judged for. And it was hard for me, being the size that I was, with all of this going on, the walkers, the oxygen, and people looking at me, because it's already a stereotype that big people need assistance. Big people need the wheelchairs in the grocery store thing, the shopping cart thing, the scooters, that's the name of them. But that was already the stereotype that was going around for people that looked like me. And dating, you can cancel that out. That was not going to happen. Even friendships, even with friends, I learned that people who claim they're my friend treated me different. And the reason why I found that out is because I lost the weight. When I lost the weight, the comments, oh my goodness, the comments that were made were shocking. They were so shocking. I never forget who this person is, but to be told that, now mind you, this was supposed to be a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, that I was told that they need to start inviting me out more because of my size. I had gone down. I had lost so much weight. They need to invite me out more with them now. I'm like, really? So you mean to tell me all these times we talked about going out, and when the time comes for us to hang out or do things together, you always bailed out on me? It was always an excuse why I never heard back from them. And it was, something come up. They didn't feel like it. I still think, even though I've lost the weight, we still haven't hung out yet. So I'm thinking, my walker still plays a part in it. They don't want to be bothered with being seen with somebody with a walker. They don't want to be seen with somebody who has oxygen. But what I need people to understand is, no matter what, I'm still the same person. No matter what people look like, they're still the same person. What a person looks like on the outside doesn't change who they are on the inside. The only way to change it is based on how people treat them. Now, if somebody treats me a certain way, okay, yeah, I can see how that changed me. But just because I was one size 2.5 years ago versus what I am today doesn't mean I'm two different people. I just look different. That's it. Oh, I almost forgot. The many times I've been told that, and I mentioned this in my last video, or the video before the last one, you done lost weight. You don't need that stuff no more. Why you still using your walker when you done lost weight? Why you still need oxygen when you lose weight? Why you in my business? Okay? That's the question you need to be asking. Why you in my business? So, no. Weight has nothing to do with the accidents that I've gone through, the injuries that I've had. None of that. Not a thing. Skinny people got COVID too. Skinny people died from COVID too. It wasn't just a big person disease or illness or death sentence. They had COVID too. Big people can have asthma and little people can have asthma, okay? It doesn't matter what size you are, sweetie. You can still get asthma. Wow, go figure. So me being one size 2.5 years ago versus the way I am now, 2.5 years later, doesn't necessarily mean that the permanent damage that was done in my lungs back during the pandemic is going to be gone. No, that has nothing to do with it. The injuries to my knee and my leg and my back isn't going to go away just because I lost weight. I may be able to maneuver it better, but it's not gone. I still deal with it every single day. I have to put medicine on my back every single day. I have to put medicine on my hip every single day. So me being one weight versus being another weight doesn't have anything to do with my physical challenges. But what people need to understand is too, I'm still the same person on the inside. If I hated you when I was bigger, I'm going to hate you when I'm little. If I was silly when I was bigger, guess what? I'm going to be silly when I'm little too. So bigger, little, tall, small, whatever. I'm still the same person. Okay? Same person. I won't break. I'm not going to treat you any different. I'm still going to be the same person that I was before. I'm a Virgo. I'm going to be me all day, every day. But having physical challenges doesn't change who I am as a person. It's just a part of who I am. It's not who I am. It's what I am. Who I am is me, myself, and I all day, every day. But what I am is a person with physical challenges. Not so-called disabilities. They're just challenges. And the reason why I say challenges is because I can still walk. I can still do dances. I can do boots, boots on the ground. I can do the cha-cha slide. I can do the wobble. I can do all them dances, okay? I may have to be more careful of the kind of shoes I'm wearing when I'm dancing. I may have to be more careful of how I place my leg and my foot when I'm doing the dances. I may not be able to do all the dances that I used to do back in the day because I have to be mindful of how I move. Because if I'm not taking heed of what I'm doing at that moment, then I can have some problems. But I still have fun. I still walk. Like I said in my other video, I can put in 4,000 steps a day if I really wanted to. I can walk. So I still go to the movies. I may not go up the steps at the movie because I always take my walker with me, because 9 times out of 10, I'm going by myself. So because we all know movies have an incline in it. Like I said, I have struggles with inclines. And if the floor is slippery or unbalanced or something, I would prefer, when I'm out in public, especially with certain places, having my walker with me for stability. Okay? Certain restaurants, I don't bring my walker to. But if it's an all-you-can-eat place, buffet, which I rarely go to anyway, I can't carry the plate and focus on my leg at the same time because I'm focusing on the tray. So it's best for me to have my walker to make sure that my leg is good and I can do me. So I don't know how dating's going to be. I know I've been to a speed dating before, but I didn't worry about it because it is what it is. It was just a one-time shot deal. It wasn't like I was going to go home and talk to these people on the phone. So it didn't really bother me. I do go out sometime with friends, but it's rare. But at the end of the day, they understand the logistics of what I'm going through because there are people who knew me before I had all this stuff. So meeting new people, we'll see. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm still the same person. So please, 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 people, when you see people who have physical challenges, okay, please don't be ignorant and be like, oh, I'm going to pray for you that you get off of this, that, and the other, because you don't know what kind of story that people went through. You don't know the logistics of what they're going through. If you want to pray for them, that's fine. Do you, boo-boo? But don't make it more of an attention grabber by saying something about it, okay? Don't look at them like something's wrong with them because they got to get on that scooter. Don't look at them because they got to have oxygen on. What you want them to do, die? I mean, that's what oxygen's for. It's not an age thing. It's not a weight thing. It's just you got to breathe thing. That's what it's for. That's why they created those machines. Walkers, it doesn't matter what size you are. They make them in more than one size, and that's why they do that. They're in more than one size. They're more than one model for all different kind of people. And what people need to understand is it only takes one accident, just one accident, to have you in the same situation that another person's in who has physical challenges. So while people running around there discriminating against people with physical challenges and looking at them like, ugh, whatever, just remember, it only takes that one accident, and you don't know it's coming until after it has happened. So be kind to everyone like you want others to be kind to you. With that being said, y'all have a great day. Talk to you later. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share my video. Bye.
I don't mean I like to get it poppin', but these bitches in my business call me ultra choosing violence. If you see me out in public, you don't